This video will show you how to create a mask animation in Flash. So let's get started. Open up a new Flash video and we can just use ActionScript 3. The first thing we are going to do is decide what we're going to create, which will be a full banner. Let's define the stage size to match the size of a full banner. Modify, Document. The size of a full banner would be 468 pixels by 60 pixels. So we're going to type our width as 468 and our height as 60 pixels. We can leave our background as white. Hit OK, and now we see our banner size. We're going to begin by importing pictures. Let's import 4 pictures that we are going to use frame-by-frame animation to flip through the pictures. To do this, we're going to go to File, and we're going to import these pictures right into our library. So, Import, Import to Library. Navigate to the Share folder. Open up Corel Web Graphics. In Corel Web Graphics, I'm going to Photos. Pick the larger size, 480, that best matches the full banner. Now pick a topic that interests you. I'm going to go into the seasons. And I'm going to pick some spring pictures. So I like this one. I'm going to hold my control key down. I like this one. I like this one. And I'm going to take this one. So now I have 4 pictures. Open them, and you'll notice if you click on the Library tab, you see your 4 pictures. They are not symbols, they are just pictures, which is fine for what we're going to do. Notice I have an empty keyframe. Let's set these pictures up on a layer. Label your layer. Drag and drop your picture. I'm going to take these crocuses that have the snow on them to your stage. Now notice the picture size is substantially bigger than the banner size. If you want to just use a portion of this picture, you can leave this the way it is. However, you can resize your pictures as well by going to the Properties tab. Click on Properties, and here is your width and your height. So you can match your width and height to your banner size. It will morph the picture. That is okay for this example. Once you see your resized picture, you can place it in your stage. But again, this is optional. If you want to just take a cross section, you can. All right, we want to add our next picture. We want an empty keyframe. So let's position our cursor in frame 5 and insert an empty keyframe. That's F7. Back to the library. Let's take the second picture that we want. So I'm going to pick this one, and again, drag and drop. I like to change my width. I want my width to match exactly, so I'm going to change that, but I'll let you determine, do you really want to change the height, or do you want just a cross section in your stage? You can make that choice. Insert another keyframe, F7. Take your third picture. Decide, do you want to resize? If so, go to Properties. I'm going to frame 15, insert a keyframe, and now let's get that last picture in there. Resize if you wish, under Properties. I want this picture to be visible for the same length of time as the other pictures. So I put my cursor in frame 20 and insert frames. Remember, to insert frames, we hit F5. So we've so far used F5 to insert frames and F7 to insert. So when you hit the Enter key, notice how it just scrolls through the pictures. This is going to be the animation that happens inside our mask. Let's create a new layer. So insert a new layer. We're going to name this text. And we're going to put text inside our banner. Now, because I didn't resize this last picture, I see the entire banner. But if I go to the frame 1, notice how I can type my text. I know where my text needs to go. Click on the text tool. You want to choose a very fat font because the fill of the font will be transparent so you can see the pictures. I am going to choose something like, I could use Treasure, I could use Tristan. I'm going to use Tristan. You can adjust your font size, but why don't you wait until you type your text? And we're going to write, spring is in the air. Let me drag this over. That is obviously way too big for our space, so I need to decrease its size. So go ahead and decrease the size. You want it to fill up most of the banner. I just have to decrease it ever so slightly. Let me see, will 1 pixel do it? Yes, it will. And I have filled up the space. So your text should fill up the banner size. Remember that you want a fat font for this animation. We're ready to rock. We need to create a mask. A mask will mean that the graphics will go inside the text. So let's right-click on the text layer, choose Mask. Notice how you now see the picture inside the letters. Hit Control-Enter, and you are taking a look at a mask. Now, that goes by pretty fast, so you can adjust your tempo by changing your frames per second. You could do that either up in the Modify menu, but right here on the timeline. And I'm going to just reduce it. I can click on it and just type 15 or just use the arrows. So I'm going to adjust mine to 15 frames per second. Control Enter. That's looking pretty good. You've just created a mask.